We're going to have to see how some of those nerves come into it because, those that do have that advantage, they know how to power through it. But this is a new experience for a lot of these teams.
For sure. All right, we see Rebirth of Empire immediately ban out Koshka. Rome, what do you think here?
Definitely. In 1.11, we see a lot of Rona and Koshka bans because they're a little bit strong and they do so much in the jungle. But on the other side, like with Media Pixel is, like what can they ban in the first draft that's gonna help them out? Like strategy-wise, are they gonna ban a certain hero, or are they just gonna ban like a more comp-wise hero that will affect their composition throughout?
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what Media Pixel decides to ban here, and they go for the Sky. Interesting. So I guess they did do some Sky on Rebirth of Empire, and Rebirth of Empire may be particularly good at Sky. Yeah,
so Sky is a very high skill cap hero, so it pretty much bases on the player that's actually controlling him. With all the mobility and being able to like reposition himself, it's quite a target to handle.
Yeah, this does mean though they are leaving the Arden open, who is a huge priority pick in this patch, and as we see, Rebirth of Empire immediately goes for it.
I'm looking at like for Media Pixel, probably a Rona pick is going to be a really good start because Rona is so strong in the late game, and then when we're looking back at like Rebirth of Empire, how are they going to counter this? Like, are they going to be able to pick a Rona on Media Pixel?
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. We do see Adagio come out, who we did hear was a fairly powerful pick for Media Pixel, and they go with the Adagio Rona, so incredibly powerful coming out of the jungle. With the Agent of Wrath on Rona, she will be doing so much damage to the enemy team. Let's see what Rebirth of Empire goes for. They got a few seconds to lock in. They go for the
Glaive.
Vox. Wow, Vox and Glaive. Interesting.
It felt like they needed some disengage to go with this. I mean, with Rona going in, she's going to be leading into the fray. Red mist right there. And with that Arden already picked out, there's not going to be a captain. There's not going to be that reliable stun. So Vox, I mean, he can use the Sonic Zoom to kind of dance around, the Glaive with the Afterburn as well. The disengage could actually be there. But at the same time, they could also now be the aggressors.
For sure. I think this is a fantastic team composition coming out of Rebirth of Empire. They are able to get away from the Rona who's trying to jump in. They can have Glaive use the Afterburn, punt her away, and as long as Vox is very on point with his Sonic Zooms, he's going to be uncatchable in this game.
Well, looking at the team comps on both sides, we can expect a really synergized team fight in the jungle early. With Glaive and Arden, they're able to, after burn in, follow up and try to execute somebody from the other team. But considering Media Pixel's composition overall, they're banking a lot on this Rona. With Adagio's buff and Fortress's bleed, they're pretty much singling out Rona to go in and jump into the fray and just do all that damage towards the other enemy.
Right, so Rome, is there any item in particular you think Media Pixel should pick up? Because they do need the Rona to get the damage out. They are probably going to need some Shiver Seals. Is there anything else that they'll need?
Definitely a Warhorn's going to help them out this match. Being able to jump in and try and cancel Vox as their laner is going to make a big difference in these team fights because Vox is very mobile, and later on, we're going to pretty much be looking at breaking points from the other team.
All right, guys, so thank you so much for our analysts as we jump into this game number 1, Rebirth of Empire, up against the Media Pixel eSport. And, as these guys said, we looked at that Rona, and Rome, pretty much 100% on point. That is why he's here. He's just so knowledgeable with all this, but we'll have to see if the rest will come true. Because this buff, the Rona comp, it feels like it could go either, big early game for the invades or into the late game here for Media Pixel.
Yeah, and, I was talking about before the game that the lane was going to be so incredibly important. With having now the Adagio in there, that's going to be a big emphasis because those ganks are going to be even more effective when Rona or Fortress do make an appearance in the top.
All right, so as we said a little bit, the synergistic jungle fights could actually be coming out here rather early. Mowgli already, with that Fortress, it might not be a Koshka here, but Fortress definitely he was a big power pick in the NA finals. Now coming into here, the first game of the day, we saw the ban on Koshka, and then that last support pick coming out from Media Pixel. But these are, again, those early game kind of big aggressors. Palmatoro, not really going to go for any kind of invades, just going to stay it safe with this farm for now. But, when it comes down to that lane as well, I mean, that's an Adagio in that lane up against the Great Kali. And if I recall from those VGL qualifiers, the Great Kali is nobody you can take lightly in lane.
Yeah, not at all. Great Kali, he loves to be aggressive, although he has to be a little bit careful here. He's going to be able to get out. But, playing on the Vox, you have to be a little bit more passive in lane just because of the fact that Vox is so heavily focused on the late game.
Yeah, but as I said a little bit earlier as well, disengage is going to be kind of key here. I mean, Glaive, he can kind of go into the jungle, he can go around to looking out. Netwillet, I mean, he's just going to have to try to get out of this one, but nice afterburn and the stun back, keeping Palmatar away from that killing potential on top of Netwillet. But Kavalfar in the lane has actually been doing this same thing up against Great Kali, and it wasn't one kill, but they might even get the second one. The fire, is that going to be enough? Netwillet does not go down. Two very near misses right there from Media Pixel eSport, but they are very much in control right now of this aggression.
Yeah, they came so close on both of those, but just not quite able to secure the kills. However, in the early game for Vainglory, that's almost just as good because the kills aren't really worth a whole lot early on. So being able to get them that low and forcing them to have to recall, it does do just as much for you as a team as picking up the kills.
All right, so Kavalfar, he's now going to be visiting that shop. He is going to actually pick up a few of those items. He did start off with that Blazing Salvo, but he gets a Crystal Bit out of this as well as a little bit of health. So he's not looking to kind of go all in. He does realize the potential to get turned upon here by the team of Rebirth of Empire. But Upfire, he's still kind of doing the big things there. Look at that vision right there from Netwillet as well. They are really fearing a counter.
Yeah, there's so many scout traps being put down right on that entrance, basically right on the line of where they're going to be crossing over into the middle of the map. So they'll always have vision of if they are making any moves onto their side of the fold. But looking back into the lane, we have all 6 members hanging out up in the top of the map.
Yes, into those lanes. So with a lot of continued aggression up here into that lane. I mean, Great Kali, again, he's still doing fine. Kavalfar is able to put up a little bit of pressure, but he's absolutely just still killing it. 23 creeps compared to the 34. Yeah, he's a little bit there behind. Kavalfar, of course, has been, just again, been pushing these guys back. He's already forced 2 of them back home. But Mowgli and Palmatar, they're going to go into this one again. The scout traps are there. They were looking for this invade, and now, well, it looks like the preparation will actually pay off. Upfire will get out of that one. Great Kali already down to half as well, though, so he's not going to really be able to do too much up against this kind of aggression, because if he stays too far forward, he is going to get jumped on, just like Mowgli, just like Kavalfar is showing us there, and that, again, is fire. We go under the turret, we get the kill. That's going to be the first blood as Kavalfar goes deep, but is rewarded.
Yeah, great job there picking up the first kill. They combine for their efforts underneath the turret. It was the first shot or two being picked up by Mowgli, and then Kavalfar finishing off the dive by going and getting the kill. So 1-0 now on the kills in favor of Media Pixel, and that does also give them a slight gold advantage as they now have a 1,000 gold lead here just at 4.5 minutes into the game.
And Palmatar and Kavalfar crew, I mean, they are really trying to make sure that they keep control of this mid area. As that gold miner gets fuller and fuller, we're going to be looking for that cash in as well. But if they're sticking 3 here, it's like Rome said, synergistic jungle fights. The 3 of them are all set up very nicely here. Now with a little bit of a gold lead coming into it, they're going to try to just control this area and just keep Rebirth the Kingdom at bay. The 8th seed of Media Pixel coming into it, I mean, they're really trying to show it as much as they can. Upfire comes in, he is actually able to pick up one of those backs. Now Netwillet, again, he's a big target. He's going to be running out of this one, and Upfire just not enough in the bank to take him home either. But this has been, again, a lot of aggression from Media Pixel, and they have been rewarded by a ton of control here on this match.
Yeah, I do like the answer here from Great Kali, recognizing that there were all three members were making that aggressive move. So he went into the enemy jungle, picking up some of those back camps. However, they are going to be missing out on the gold miner. Decent gold payout picked up by Media Pixel. Also, of course, going to be giving them that extra vision around the center of the map as well. We do start to see our first tier 3 items being picked up. It's the Shiver Steel there for Mowgli, just to make those chases where they can't quite secure the kill. Great job there by Kavalfar. But those chases where they've been trying to pick up those kills and trying to chase people down, now it's going to be a little bit easier.
All right, we also have a lot of armor here so far in a lot of these items. Palmatar picking up those double light armors, of course, Upfire as well, going for a little bit more defensive. But one thing to note is, as you said, the Shiver Steel there for Mowgli, but Vox has actually picked up a chronograph this early, looking for some of that cooldown reduction right there. The more he can stay a little bit more mobile, that it's not only going to serve him well defensively, but as well offensively. And we're still looking for that first kill, and ooh, that defense, I don't know if that's going to hold. Palmatar is that level 6. We got Kavalfar there. That's going to be a burst as well. Big damage there on top of Kali, but they were trying to just deter Upfire from finishing out that thought. Mowgli very hurt off to the side. Kavalfar and crew just got to abandon their aggression, and that felt a little too greedy, I think, for Media Pixel.
A little too greedy, but they were able to get out of there unscathed for the most part. I mean, they didn't actually give up a kill in that situation, but
so
now
much
they might
damage.
be.
Oh, that bait. Will this actually pay off? Net Toilette, it needs to stick to Cavalifar, but still, that's a lot of damage coming out of the Adagio there as well. Big shields coming out from both sides. Now he's turning on top of Cali. He will get one. And will he actually live through it? No, Net Toilette will actually return and answer for a kill. But geez, like in a 2v1 situation, I gotta say, Media Pixel made the best of it there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that you can go into a 2v1 situation and come out with at least one kill in it, you're going to be more than happy because you kept it even while two of the opposing members were stuck trying to get that kill. Meanwhile, your two teammates were able to sit there and continue farming. So the advantage definitely still stayed with Media Pixel on that trade. And the gold lead, it hasn't really changed too much. So both teams have been doing a really good job of keeping their CS numbers up.
All right, so we cashed in the chronograph, got ourselves an aftershock there from Great Cali. A nice, good kind of big spike there for him. But we got that Sorrow Blade there from Palmatoro as well. Again, a little bit of armor now going about, again, both sides. You know, the Shiver Steel, of course, 500 max life. It has served Mowgli well. Could this actually be a big kill on top of Cavalifar? The Afterburn goes in with that stun. He doesn't look like there's enough of the bank here. Cavalifar will actually live through it. Mowgli now there as well, just to deter any kind of big tower dive situations. Not entirely too sure where the Rona ended up, but I'm sure that she's doing great things.
Yeah, and it's the fact that they don't have that second crowd control. They don't have the stun from the gauntlet of Arden to be able to break things up. And it's just, if they had that second stun, if Arden had been level 6, they would have easily been able to get that kill. It was a great afterburn that it's almost unfortunate that it wasn't rewarded with a kill. Meanwhile, though, down in the jungle, Palmatoro just trying to be a nuisance.
Yeah, he has a little bit of health to go with that armor now as well. But remember, you know, Sorrow Blade, I'm not entirely too sure it's like the earliest Sorrow Blade I've ever seen. But at this point, he is something to be reckoned with. It's kind of curious, you know, 3 kills, and none of them actually landed on top of Palmatoro so far. It's all Cavalifar and that laning Adagio. And, well, we're just going to be popping so many scout traps here. It's giving Rebirth of Empire a really good idea of where this aggression is. And that's actually a minion mine. Or, no, was that the gold mine?
No, that was the minion mine being picked up there.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
Rebirth of Empire, which it's a little strange to see. I mean, it did get to the maximum gold, as obviously jungle camps are worth more the longer they're on the map. It was at its maximum payout, so they did go and get it. Meanwhile, though, here's the 3-on-3.
Yeah, the Afterburn going in for Cavalifar. That's a gauntlet. Doesn't quite land on top of Cavalifar, so the burst does go down, and Rona is going to be the big first kill right there. She does take home that Arden, and now she's sticking on top of Great Cali. He's going to be out and up fire. He has to use that next Afterburn just to disengage, prevent that ace buff. Low hit points across the board here for Media Pixel, but the verse did not get stopped by that gauntlet.
Yeah, it didn't get stopped, so they get the 2 kills. They get the turret now, and just like that, this gold lead, they just gained about 700 gold in bonus over where they had been about 4 minutes ago. So it's actually been a really good job of Rebirth of Empire to not fall too far behind because of the fact that they just got 900 gold total off of that turret, but are still only 700 gold above where they were previously. So Rebirth of Empire has actually been slowly clawing their way back into the game. Although that immense gold payout is going to be setting them back a bit there.
Yeah, another 900 gold over the team of Media Pixel. And 5-1 in 10 minutes. They have really paid off a little bit here with their aggression. They've picked some really good team fights, and they've only suffered out 1 death, and even then it was a trade out for a 1-for-1. So they haven't really given up any kind of their advantages that they've accrued, and they have, not been living in their opponent's jungle, but they have taken away a fair amount of that income here to Rebirth of Empire, and most notably on top of Upfire.
Yeah, looking at the fact of where they are, just in terms of items, you have the breaking point is complete onto Glaive, but that's really all he has in terms of a large item in his inventory. You have on Great Kali, obviously the Aftershock and the Piercing Dagger is there, or Piercing Shard, sorry, which is going to be giving him a bit of extra damage. But you look over on the other side, and you have, obviously, the one step closer as there is going to be a fight breaking out.
Yeah, Netwella just gets deleted in that team fight. Now that, again, Afterburn used for the disengage is actually going to kick back the Media Pixel here as well, just trying to make sure that they cannot continue that aggression. Great Kali, however, that's going to be Fortress now jumping in. Cavalifar and those auto attacks are just absolutely devastating. Now we're going to have some of those pack mates come out. Mowgli and crew, they're looking for upfire here. Palmataro's jumping in. Red Mist is just not there. He already used it, but it doesn't matter. It is going to be another 2 kills going the way of Media Pixel. That will put them now for the 3, but it was a delayed ace. They weren't able to pick it up before NetSweat came back, still going impressive for their troubles. And Media Pixel, again, the 8th seed coming into this one. They said they have a lot to prove, and so far they are proving this.
Yeah, they are looking so strong here against the #1 seed in the tournament. That's the thing you have to keep in mind. They're not just the #8 seed. They're the #8 seed that is currently up 8-1 over the #1 seed. So Media Pixel, they said they have a lot to prove, but they were confident. They said they were going to prove everything here today. They're definitely well on their way to doing so, as now we are getting a little bit of a break in the action. Both teams sort of backing off, just clearing out their own side of the jungle camp. Now the minion miner is going to be taken here by Media Pixel, so even that up at least, so the lane will stay going even instead of constantly pushing towards them.
Yeah, we got some minion mine candy going on, as we do not want to be giving up that gold miner whatsoever. It's a little early, it feels, because we don't even have a Kraken for another 2.5 minutes, but they're just really trying to make sure that Media Pixel, again, they have these big advantages. They really want to make sure that they can hold on to them. In fact, speaking of, I mean, now we have a Crystal Infusion ready to go there for Cavalify. This next fight, if Rebirth of Kingdom do not take down that Adagio as quick as they can, they are going to be facing up against that infused Adagio. And so far, he is sitting 5-1-3, 134 minions to his name as well. He's veritably the richest player in this match right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I'm a little surprised that we actually haven't seen any infusions come out yet. Of course, now that Palmatoro and Cavalifar are level 12, once they have enough gold, I would definitely expect them to go and be focusing on getting those infusions, because they just add so much. As right now, it looks like they're trying to set up a bait here in this bush, but they don't realize that the entire enemy team is back at base, so not going to be getting anything off of that party bush strategy.
Yeah, not for a bit, because Rebirth of Empire, I mean, they have a little bit of gold in their own pockets. You can now see some of it coming out in terms of these items. I mean, we've had a Fountain of Renewal for the longest time here for Net Toilette, but something to notice is we actually now have more reflex boxes here in that game. In fact, double Aegis actually coming out for Media Pixel. So they're actually still committing to this. They're using Mowgli here for Scout. Do they actually have those ultimates ready to go? They do. The pack mates are at the ready for the call. Palmatar and Kavalf are just unfortunately not going to be finding anything for their time in that bush. But again, at this point, they are still pretty much in control of this map. There's very few places Rebirth of Empire could go that Media Pixel won't know about.
Yeah, and it's a little strange to me that they decided to go for that party rush strategy. A lot of times when you see that, it's because a team has their opponents locked up in their own base and they don't have anywhere to go, or you see it being done by a team that's behind and they're trying to do it as almost a desperation play. So to see it used in that situation, it wasn't really the best of ideas in my opinion, because of the fact that they didn't get anything off of that. That entire time that they were sitting in that brush, they could have been farming up jungle camps, they could have been getting gold.
All right, Net Toilette actually does pick up that War Horn. Again, something else that Rome was looking for back at the Analyst. But 8-1, it is looking a little dire here for Rebirth of Empire. We also now have that weapon infusion on Mowgli as well. Palmataro, I mean, he's just starting to stack more and more damage, but Rebirth of Empire, their farm has been fairly limited. Now Kraken's about to come out. It's going to be a tiny gold payout for Media Pixel. There it is, 38 gold, but hey, it goes a long way for that lead. And 7,000 or so between these teams. Media Pixel is, they're not really in a big rush to finish this one out.
Yeah, they're definitely taking their time. They have that 7,000 gold lead. Serpent Mask was just picked up by Palmataro, so he's going to be even more difficult to kill in these fights when they do break out. And Media Pixel, this is very dangerous. They're just going to start up the Kraken.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, the evidence is there. Rebirth of Empire haven't been down here in like a heck of a long time. There's no flares, no scout traps. 2 of them are showing in lane. They see Upfire right there, but Upfire's like, I don't know if they're there or not. I don't want to risk it. But now, okay, fine, they're going to risk it. This is actually a bad idea, at least I feel. Even if they get Upfire, they're going to give up all that work that they had on the Kraken. They've lost out now a turret in lane as well.
Yeah, this is such a really not very good call by Media Pixel. They are going to eventually get the Kraken, but again, they already gave up 1 turret. When Kraken gets taken, it's going to be another 500 gold per player going over to Rebirth of Empire. So if Rebirth of Empire can take down the Kraken with it only taking 1 turret or not even getting this, I assume it's going to get the first turret there because it is it's very difficult to kill the Kraken that quickly, especially when the turret only has half health. But if they can prevent it from taking a second turret, then Rebirth of Empire will actually have one out on this trade.
Well, Upfire's going to be back in lane, but I guess it is something of a sign of respect. I mean, Upfire on that glaive, we've seen these steals before, so, I mean, hey, they just didn't want to risk it. The Gauntlet, unfortunately, just not really kind of netting anything. The turret goes down very quickly. The Kraken makes short work of it. Net Toilet now down under half. The auto attacks coming out from Gavaf are absolutely monstrous right now. Not only is it Net Toilet low, but it is Great Kali. He has to go back to that health area there as well. We had those pack mates come out. The Wolves are now done, and that's another turret now in the bag here for Media Pixels. Not looking so hot here for Rebirth of Empire as their hit points are just slowly going down and down. The Kraken is still sitting. It's about to be out now, but Net Toilet, he does get chased down. Mowgli is able to finish that one off. The red mist on the turret as well. That is going to go down very easily here. And Media Pixel, they can't end the game. They only did get one kill, but they got 2-3 turrets out of that one. I'd say that's well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Once they got the second turret, it became worthwhile. And then, of course, once you get the third one, that was absolutely huge for them. The infusions have started to show up. Palmataro still hasn't grabbed one, which I'm very, very surprised at that fact. However, Cavalifar and Upfire are working on just grabbing infusions. And even if you have an empty slot, infusions are still just at level 12 are worth picking up before a fight is going to break out. So obviously chosen not to, but it has worked out for them thus far because they are just so far ahead.
Well, slow and steady wins the race, or so they say, and Rebirth of Empire is just not winning this race whatsoever. 8,000 gold between these teams now as Media Pixel are, again, just pretty much in control. We do got some very defensive scout traps coming out. Again, we're looking just to make sure that Rebirth of Empire do at least have a little bit of a safety net. That is a lot of scout traps in their own bushes. Now, so if Media Pixel shows up, at least then Rebirth will have an idea of where they are. That's why they're being a little bit more aggressive here. That's why they're trying to pick up as much farm as they can. But at this rate, I mean, that noose is tightening, and Media Pixel is, could they even wait for that next Kraken just to finish this off?
They definitely could, and they don't have to, but it would be a smart, like I wouldn't chastise them at the least
that
if
is
they
a
were
lot
to.
of infusions.
And that is now full infusions for both Cavalifar and Palmataro. Mowgli, of course, also having the crystal infusion. Didn't quite have enough to pick up the weapon infusion. However, that is a sign that Media Pixel is going to be looking to end this game very soon.
Yeah, they have now control of both of those minion mines, so some really big and heavy minions going to be pushing down these lanes. Net Toilet, again, I got to give it to him. He now has flares. He's been putting down a heck of a lot of scout traps. Really just trying to make sure that this turret is the last defense. We got minion candies on this pushing wave. Palmataro's right there. Net Toilet just gets absolutely decimated. The red mist, not exactly hitting the targets that they need to, but the counter gauntlet is going to be there. Cavalifar now a little bit under half. Upfire is into the back looking for that kill. He will get to safety. A good vanguard there from Net Toilet, but Great Kelly and crew, they are basically, their backs are up against the wall. They still can't get Cavalifar. Finally we go, and the Sonic Zoom, good stuff there from the box. Another kill, their second kill in almost 20 minutes, but it will keep this turret going, and they are still in this match.
Yeah, and I think that just kind of shows why the idea of waiting for Kraken is still a good idea, because fighting right next to a team's base, they're going to be able to just back off, get a little bit of healing, and then come right back out for a good chunk of damage.
A big thing would have been to take down Net Toilet before the Gauntlet, before some of those Vanguards coming in to kind of save the rest of Rebirth of Empire. But they couldn't actually, finish it off, which is kind of surprising, because when you're ahead 8,000 gold and counting, and you've had multiple turrets, you have those infusions, it is a little puzzling that they weren't actually able to take down Vanguard, or Arden.
Yeah, Kraken is now up, so this is where both teams are going to be putting a lot of attention as Rebirth has made their way up here and are trying to actually take over this portion of the map. They do so successfully, at least for now.
We have some counter infusions here as well. Great Kali sitting on both. Upfire does have that weapon. We do have a crystal ready to go on Net Toilet, and as well that flare. Again, these guys are looking for a little bit more of their information control, a little bit more information warfare. Another flare goes out. Oh, they know they just got flared. They have to be somewhere close. Even if they go for the Kraken, Mowgli and crew, they're going to be leading the way. He's just on all fours. He's going to go for this turret, and this is going to force Rebirth of Empire back into the defensive postures. Even if this doesn't get anywhere, Mowgli and crew have once again secured control of this map.
Yeah, great decision there. Great call by, obviously, Mowgli, who's the one who is the shot caller for Media Pixel, to say, all right, they have controlled the middle area of the map. They're in there. They have that vision control. They could, ambush us. shoved down the lane, forced them to recall,
Oh.
and now we've just completely
Oh.
turned it as there's a gauntlet going down.
Yeah, the Gauntlet trying to separate Cavalifar there, but he's just not really taking a big damage. Wait for it did go out, and they are waiting for it. Cavalifar still cannot get that burst off. The Scout Trap is actually going to be enough to take down the... everyone, as everyone's just kind of dying at this point. Rona is actually going to pick up one. The Fortress picks up another. The Great Kelly is actually still standing, but he has 3 wolves on him. Looks like it's not even going to be too much of an issue. But when the smoke clears, Great Kelly is actually standing a lot better off than Pomotar and crew. And for a 2-for-2, it is mind-boggling that Rebirth of Empire is just not straight out losing.
Yeah, and that's the late game Vox. Vox is a late game hero. We talked about it during the draft phase that Vox, they first picked him. They wanted this late game. This was what they were looking for from the start, and it's what they've gotten now. They've been able to stave off the pressure long enough to the point where Vox is now turned online and is doing so much damage in these fights. I'm really, really surprised that he didn't get an alternating current because that is typically the core Vox item. He went with the Aftershock as his first item instead of the alternating current, which was very, very strange to me, but we see now it is starting to pay off finally.
All right, so whole lot more kills. 4 kills now into the 22 minutes, and we were sitting at that 1 at the 19:30 mark. So Rebirth of Empire, still signs of life coming into this one. Minion mines are going back and forth, but because everybody was more or less dead by the end of that last engage, this Kraken is still standing, and this is just something that Rebirth of Empire cannot give up. If they let Media Pixel pick this one up, it's going to be game. So again, the Gauntlet things to start it off. Great Kelly into the back, still dancing around. The verse is going to go down. Net Toilet is still in the thick of things, but overall, it's Cavalifar now. He's going to be the big focus target. Doesn't matter. The Vox is going to get a dodge. He gets 1. He gets 2. He's looking for that 3rd on top of Net Toilette, and you're not going to be getting away from a Fortress comp like that. That is an ace, and that is Media Pixel now securing game number 1 in this series.
Yeah, 45-second death timers. They're not going to be back anywhere near in time. So they can just take pretty much all day as they make a leisurely stroll into the base with these minions. The turret's going to go down, and the Vein Crystal is going to follow shortly after. Media Pixel, the number 8 seed, taking game number 1 off of Rebirth of Empire.
Well, as I said, a lot to prove.